Hello, Psychologies readers, subscribers and friends, as I usually say. My name is Mary Fenwick. I write the Agony Aunt column for Psychologies magazine every month. And once a week, I'm here on a Tuesday at 5:30. We're calling it Weekly Wisdom. And it is sharing our collective wisdom, really. I'm a bit wonky. I'm just trying to get myself straight. Yeah, so Weekly Wisdom. The idea being it's not just my wisdom, it's our group collective wisdom, because the Psychologies magazine community is a very wise one. And each week I'm here at 5:30 on a Tuesday for about half an hour, live to answer questions if anybody wants to, but also to share thoughts and stories, experiences related to a particular topic. Oh, okay, it's 7:30 wherever Zaina is, Zaina Foad. So as you join, let me know that you're there, where you're from. And particularly if you've got any comments or questions or stories about today's theme. And the theme today is going to be nostalgia. I promised it last week because we started talking about nostalgia and I had a feeling that there was more to say about it. Hi, Mariah. Oh, wow. Zaina is in Iraq. Hi, thank you. I'm not sure I'm calling you by the right name, but thank you. And here we've got somebody who's from Tanzania, a psychology student. Hi, great to meet you. I've got a number of connections with Tanzania and I'm hoping to be there whenever I can. I've got a couple of very good friends who'll be heading there very shortly, within the next couple of weeks, and as soon as it's humanly possible, I'm hoping to go and visit them. And we've got my Carly B coaching, hello from Birmingham, and Lifetime Therapy saying we're in Cornwall, feeling nostalgic for travel now. Right, wow, yeah. So I'm going to, because of the kind of person I am, I rely on the evidence a lot, and so I'll always do a bit of research about a topic, and that's the way I approach my column in Psychologies as well. The big challenge with my column in Psychologies is to condense masses of material down to a small number of words. So the good thing about these weekly wisdom slots is I get to say a little bit more about particular topics. I've got Helen Shingler, who's in Cornwall in the UK. Hi, Kate Bruton and Andy Mills, I think. And Lifetime Therapy is in fact Helen. Hello, Helen. So the topic is nostalgia. And I started thinking about this because towards the end of last week's Instagram Live, I was sharing some photos that I had just been digging out from a box of stuff that was in my mother's house in New Zealand. And the reason for digging out those photos last week was that it was my daughter's 21st birthday on Thursday. And we were doing a family quiz. Her name's Isabel, so we called it our Quizabel. And I wanted to dig out some old baby and childhood photos of Isabel. And actually, it was my mother who had more of them. My mother died 4 years ago, September 2016. But I shipped 3 boxes of stuff from her house back to myself in the UK. And all the time that my children were little, when they were born, babies, growing up, I was often sending physical photos to my mother in New Zealand. So she's kind of got the archive, even more than me, because I've moved house several times. And, oh, hi, another Helen Shingler. Hi, Anna Claire Maria. Yeah, so my mother had ended up with more of the photos. And one of the ones that I shared last week was a photo that when another one of my children was quite young, there's a photo of 4 generations of the women in my family. So it's my grandmother, my mother, me, and my daughter. And that's a really special photo for me. Hi, Anna Clamaret. Hi from Ireland. So we've got Ireland, Iraq, Tanzania, Cornwall, Birmingham, I think I've seen, and I am here in Woking. People who are just joining now, I'm Mary Fenwick. I write the Agony Aunt column for Psychologies magazine. So once a month, I'm in your Psychologies magazine. Look, sorry, haven't got it to hand, which is silly of me. Anyway, you can read my response to 3 readers' questions in Psychologies magazine each month. And once a week, I'm here, my time, 5:30 in the UK, available to answer questions live if anybody has them, but also to share our community wisdom about a particular topic. And the topic today is nostalgia. Hi, Gavi Lou Black. Lovely to have you. Where are you joining us from? I wanted to look into nostalgia because I wasn't sure whether it gives us fundamentally a kind of psychological benefit to be looking back. Thank you, Zane. Zane is saying it's okay. You're amazing. That's very kind. Thank you. Thank you. And well, all my admiration goes to you for tracking us down from Iraq, and thank you for joining us. I was interested in whether nostalgia was a fundamentally kind of positive psychological phenomenon, or whether it was a bit negative, because sometimes we would talk in our kind of, in conversation, we might say so-and-so is dwelling in the past or living in the past, and we'd say it like it's a bad thing. But I was intrigued to know what the research says about the kind of function of nostalgia. And what I've found so far is that on the whole, actually, funnily enough, a lot of the research comes back to Southampton University, which is not that far away from me in the UK. And they've got I can't remember what the actual name is, but it's some sort of like a centre for nostalgia studies there. And basically, nostalgia is a positive psychological phenomenon. And I was thinking that, also wondering whether nostalgia was going to be particularly helpful for us at the moment when everything in our present is so chaotic and our future is unpredictable. So I was wondering whether the idea of looking back might have a particularly beneficial effect when the present and the future are not so happy. And so I'm saying hi to Sexual Clinic and hi to M. Spem, hi to Vic Hines, hi to Yaz and B Psychology, I think, Erin's Days, Jackie Regan. Hope I've caught up with everybody. Great to see you. I'm talking about nostalgia today. I'm here to answer any questions live if you have them, which don't have to be related to nostalgia. They might just be something that you want to ask me. But also I'm here to facilitate the sharing of stories, tips, ideas, experiences amongst our Psychologies community, which could be related to anything, but the theme this week is nostalgia. From what I've been able to kind of discover in my research, it's glorifying it to call it research, but I have done a bit of reading about the topic of nostalgia today, and it seems as if, yes, this might be a useful way for us to build a bit of psychological strength at the moment when, as I said, our present and our future are really difficult. And in the latest, or the latest questions that I've been answering for the magazine, which actually people won't be in print until the end of December, because magazines, big lead time, etc., etc. But one of those questions is a young person who's graduating university and feeling really anxious about the future. So that reinforced my interest into whether being a bit mindful and conscious of what we turn back to in the past might be particularly supportive at the moment. Hi Fiona Cameron, hi Sima, hi Nargisi or Nargisi, Vivian Noble, hope I'm catching everybody, hi Sack, hi Anne Learmont, hi Nature's, I can only read part of the name, so sorry I'm not getting the whole thing. So, nostalgia. Nostalgia is, it comes from a Greek root, and it comes from a time where we regarded this as a sickness, homesickness. And when researchers talk about nostalgia now, they're not so much talking about homesickness, but nostalgia, or our happy memories, our happy looking back, tends to be related to three main headings. It's about people that we're close to, family members or friends or partners, momentous events like birthdays, anniversaries, holidays, and settings. So for example, sunsets, lakes, particular travel. So you can see that it's possible to kind of set up future nostalgia by creating events or creating memories, particularly strong memories with people who are close to you, and particularly if they are in particular settings, which makes me think of, you know, some families go back to the same place year after year for their holidays. So that would imply that helps us build up this fund of potentially positive nostalgic memories. Not always. I'm just going to give a little health warning. Like anything, it's not useful to spend all your time living in the past, unless you're an elderly person. A person with dementia can get a lot of comfort from living in the past. But in general, for most of us, it's not that healthy to spend all our time living in the past. The recommendation is something like 2 or 3 times. Let's have a look. 2 or 3 times, I was going to say a month, or it might be 2 or 3 times a week. Just bear with. Anybody who has anything in the meantime to say about nostalgia? Oh, not the right topic to discuss. I'm feeling deep nostalgic for my mother. She passed away 3 months ago, so I'm in that time. I'm in that time we've been with her in our life together. Or maybe you're saying, Zaina, that it is a good thing for you at the moment. Oh, I'm really happy that you are able to access happy memories of your mother, because sometimes when somebody dies, it's almost like there's a bit of a blockage, and there can be a bit of a lapse of time before we're able to connect to the happy memories. So if you are able to connect with them at the moment, I can imagine that would be bringing you quite a bit of comfort. Hi, I think I've got Dorothy Owens and Laels Boyne 19, something or other. Just to introduce myself again briefly, I'm Mary Fenwick. I write the Agony Art column for Psychologies magazine, which means I write the main advice column for the magazine. So I'm one of them, funnily enough, in a way, I'm one of the people who has the most direct contact with readers, because people write to me each month and I have the privilege of giving a bit of perspective on what they've written about. And once a week I'm here with an Instagram live where I'm available to answer questions live, but also to facilitate the sharing of our collective wisdom around a particular topic. We're calling this weekly wisdom, not just my wisdom, everybody's. I'm wanting to share it. I was in the middle of looking to see what the recommendation is about how often we might seek out those nostalgic memories. I'll come across it again. But the people who might want to be a bit careful about nostalgia or about consciously looking back into their own past would be people who have what's called an avoidant pattern, where their relationships are not happy. So in that context, deliberately spending time in the past is not such a great idea, but there might be things that you could do in the present. And also, if you're neurotic and overdo it. Yeah, so basically, like anything else, don't overdo it. But within those parameters, what I want to say about deliberately looking back at happier times is a bit more detail about how that helps us, and a bit of detail about one very creaky chair. In my present, I have a very creaky chair. A bit more detail about one of the techniques that is kind of quite reliable for inducing a pleasant feeling of looking backwards. So, the emotion of nostalgia, this looking back with fondness, it's normal for it to be a bit mixed. It's a bittersweet feeling. It's happy with a little bit of sadness as well. That much is normal. There's often, mostly happiness, a tiny sense of loss, and then some of the other emotions that we might experience include comfort, calm, regret, sadness, and pain, also possible. But that mix, it's kind of that bittersweet mix. One of the main psychological benefits of nostalgia is it's to do with our sense of belonging. So it kind of connects us to our own story about ourselves. And that has got a name. I think it's something like self-continuity. So looking back to our own happy memories in the past, or strong memories of somebody that we were close to, or a big occasion like a christening, a birthday, an anniversary, a wedding, I guess, maybe even a funeral, they kind of connect us to the things that are important in our life, which contributes to the sense of meaning and the sense that our life as a whole has meaning. So that's one of the psychological benefits of seeking out some nostalgia, some looking back, not in the words of the Oasis song, not looking back in anger, but looking back in with happiness, with a little bit of sadness, with a little bit of regret, but all of those bittersweet memories. I'm getting a couple of requests about joining the live video, and we don't actually do that. This is from Cara Laxman, and sorry, I'm just frozen slightly in my own vision. We don't have guests on this live feed. The main reason being that this is not my personal hosting. This is the Psychologies magazine feed. I've also forgotten to say, if anybody's interested in getting hold of a copy of the magazine, have a look at the link in the bio for Psychologies magazine and you'll get the latest offers. I'm seeing Angela, I'm seeing Liana, I'm seeing OCD Excellence, I'm seeing Ella Edwards, it's Anne Thorne. I think we've met before, Anne. My screen has gone very weird, sorry. Deepanshi, I think, and CSC Smudger, I think. trying to get rid of that view for myself. So, Nisha, the attractor, can't read the end of your name. Let me know where you're joining from, and if you have any questions or comments or your own stories about your experience of nostalgia and looking back. So when people do look back at their happy memories, they tend to see more continuity between their past and their present, which I think actually would probably be quite reassuring at the moment, because we've got this feeling at the moment that we're living through a time of kind of rupture, and that's where this looking back could help us, I think, to have a sense of continuity and meaning. And typically people would describe their lives as more meaningful, and they would indicate higher levels of self-esteem and positive mood. So it is kind of a resource that you can harness. One of the other interesting things is that we tend to feel more nostalgic in response to adversity. So it is at a time like this that we're more inclined to look backwards. So it's one of those cases where everything is kind of working in a helpful direction. It's in a time of adversity, we're more inclined to look backwards. But that looking backwards can be helpful to us. So in a way, it's almost like we're having this instinctive reaction, which is a helpful one. Hi Hayley, hi Marisa, I think, and hi Shalranim, Ranaim, I think. Apologies if I haven't pronounced that correctly. So, what are some of the benefits? Actually, one of the areas of research is this whole kind of kidult thing about young people wanting to go and play in a ball pit rather than going to a pub. Not that either of them is really an option at the moment. But the net effect of nostalgia is that it makes life seem more meaningful, and it even can make death feel less frightening. It's not clear to me whether they're talking about our own death or other people's death, but when people are speaking wistfully about the past, they would typically become more optimistic and inspired about the future. I find that really cool. If anybody's having any reaction or comments or questions that they want to add to what I'm saying, you're very welcome. Hop in and I'll read out your comments or your stories. So nostalgia, in a sense, makes us a bit more human. It is mixed, but mostly the positive outweighs the negative. Let's have a look. It would be quite common for a nostalgic story to start with a bit of a problem, but then they tend to end well, which might be thanks to help from someone who's close to you. And hi Karen, I've got a couple of Karens, I've got Zanu. Welcome to this Instagram Live with me, Mary Fenwick. I write the monthly advice column for Psychologies magazine, and I'm here every Tuesday at 5:30 UK time for an Instagram Live where I'm available to answer people's questions. We call it our weekly wisdom, sharing wisdom with each other. So please do feel free to share your wisdom, particularly around the topic of nostalgia. Hi from Wales, Karen Harvey. Hi. Well, you're under lockdown, so you might want to have a look at the health benefits of nostalgia, looking at some old photos, and in particular listening to music, which I'm going to come on to. Hi Nisha Serene, hi, give me a wave. The usefulness of nostalgia tends to vary with age. So nostalgia levels tend to be high among young adults, then dip in middle age and rise again in old age. And some of the evidence says that nostalgia can be particularly helpful when you're dealing with transitions. So I've got 4 children, young adults, and 3 of them are at university this year. And one of the things that I've noticed over the years and years that I've been dropping my children off at university is they do tend to set up a photo wall. And that doing this reading has reinforced to me that that is a good idea, because nostalgia helps us to deal with transitions. And the specific example is when young adults are just moving away from home or starting their first jobs, they fall back on their memories of their family Christmases, their pets, their friends at school, and that helps give this sense of continuity. I've got woo woo. Hello, give me a wave. It's not necessarily the fact that people who are feeling nostalgic are always comparing the past to the present and always thinking that the past is better. You can, as I said, go on this kind of journey with your memories where you're remembering the bad as well as the good. But on the whole, you're remembering people that you're close to, and often it might be a story with a happier outcome where somebody helped you to overcome difficulty. And the framing that they recommend is a kind of, hi Pete, hi, lovely to see you. I'm often watching your Facebook lives, and you're reminding me that I should be making more effort to connect with you. I'm talking about nostalgia today. This is my regular weekly wisdom slot, 5:30 on a Tuesday, and I pick a theme and I invite people to share their experiences or comments of that particular theme. So last week I touched on the idea of nostalgia. Thank you, Pete. That's lovely. Thank you. So last week I touched on the idea of nostalgia, and whether I wanted to do a little bit more research into whether it was fundamentally a kind of positive emotion, because I was finding the experience positive of going through some photos from my mother's house. My mother died 4 years ago, but I sent 3 boxes of stuff from her house to myself here in the UK. And I was going through the photos because my daughter turned 21 last week, and we were doing a Quizabelle. Her name is Isabel, so we were pulling together baby photos, and we blocked out her face, and the question was, is Isabel, is it Isabel or not? And then we also did some ones which were who's this baby face? We zoomed in, and some of those zoomed in baby faces were Isabel and some of them were not. Hi Evelyn. So, yeah, the way to frame your forays into nostalgia is to think about the meaning and to think about the continuity and to think about how those memories of those people, that experience, or even that place, how they connect with you as you are now. Because that is building up this sense of self-continuity. And the question which they recommend for older people to reflect on is, I'm just checking where it says, what has my life meant? And that is a kind of a reassuring, on the whole, a reassuring reflection, because it helps people to create a coherent narrative about their life, which can have psychologically empowering benefits. So, yes, you can benefit by nostalgizing, if we can invent this as a verb, 2 or maybe 3 times a week. Experience it as a prized possession. Your memories are part of your possession, part of what makes you you. And in the saying that Humphrey Bogart in the movie Casablanca, when he says we'll always have Paris, we do have it. These are memories that nobody can actually take away from us. And at a time that, honestly, this does make me reflect, that at a time when so much feels as if it is being taken away from us, maybe it's not surprising that those memories, those things that nobody else can take away from us, they become particularly precious and can really contribute to our psychological kind of equilibrium and well-being. Hi, Gavi Lou Black. Lovely to meet you. Thank you for saying hello. Hello, Elena. Hello, Najwat. People are coming and going a bit, but just as a little wrap-up, I am here each week on a Tuesday at 5:30 UK time, and we conduct these sessions which are called Weekly Wisdom, Instagram Live with me, Mary Fenwick. So I'm here once a week live to answer questions, to join up the wisdom of our Psychologies community. But once a month you can read my responses to 3 selected letters from readers in Psychologies magazine. Hello, House of Hopwood. Hi, Sammy. Hi. Yeah, I think I've caught up with most people. Once a month I'm in Psychologies magazine answering some questions, and once a week I'm here with an Instagram live. If you are interested in getting a hard copy of Psychologies magazine, have a look for the link in the bio to Psychologies magazine. And I'm just going to read out Karen Harvey's. Have a look in the link in the bio for the latest offers to get hard copies or subscriptions. Karen Harvey is saying, I'm a poet and writing for wellbeing practitioner. Karen, would you do me a favour, please, and find me? I'm at Mary the Fenwick, my individual handle on Instagram, because I've been running a program called Writing Back to Happiness, and what you're doing with Writing for Wellbeing and the poetry is really interesting, because my approach is bringing together positive psychology, many of the different elements of positive psychology about positive emotion, also expressive writing, but also a bit of future orientation. And I'm bringing it into kind of journaling, and it sounds as if we would have a lot of crossover of interest with your Writing for Wellbeing. Story, poetry, telling our story, then reflecting on this as a group now on Zoom is so important. I love that. That sounds really great. And Helen at Lifetime Therapy says, thank you, so glad we discovered you. That's really lovely. Thank you. Well, here each week, and do join us again. Yeah, as I say, find me, follow me personally if you'd like to keep in touch, but also obviously follow Psychologies magazine, and if you'd like a hard copy, have a look for the link in the bio. Thank you, a pleasure as always, and I'm going to save this and you'll be able to find it on the Psychologies magazine page in the future. See you next week.